There are two types of articles in Spanish: definite articles and indefinite articles. A definite article means the, and an indefinite article means a or an, and when it's plural, some or a few. For example, I want the blue car versus I want a blue car. The blue car is very specific versus a general blue car. Articles can be masculine, feminine, singular, and or plural. Masculine articles that are singular are el or un. Masculine articles that are plural are los or unos. The difference between masculine articles is whether it's a definite article or an indefinite article. If it's a masculine definite article, the singular option is el, the plural option is los. If it is an indefinite masculine article that is singular, the only option is un. If it is a plural indefinite masculine article, the only option is unos. If it can be masculine, it can be feminine. Definite and indefinite articles can be both feminine and masculine. The meaning of them, however, does not change. A feminine definite article is the la when it is singular. A feminine definite article when it's plural is las. Indefinite feminine articles when singular are una and when plural, unas. El, los, un, and unos are masculine articles. La, las, una, unas are feminine articles. For example, let's say we have the noun profesor and profesora, and we want to use a definite article. We know that profesor is singular and masculine, so el is our only option. El profesor. Profesora is singular and feminine, so la is our only option as a definite article. La profesora. If we want to go from the profesor to profesores, we can change the number but not the gender. Profesores is still masculine, but now it's plural. Using a definite article, we get los profesores. Profesoras are still feminine, but now plural. Keeping it as a definite article, we get las profesoras. Un libro, una mesa. We have to find out what we know about the noun because the article agrees with the noun. Libro is masculine and singular. If we follow the chart, a singular masculine article can either be el or un. We want to use an indefinite article, so it's un. Mesa is feminine and singular. Following the chart, a singular feminine article can either be la or una. We want to use an indefinite article, so it's una. If we want to make these nouns plural, we get unos libros and unas mesas. We just can't change the noun to be plural without changing the article as well. They go hand in hand and must agree with each other. When we want to make a noun change number, going from either singular or plural to singular, we look at the noun ending. This chart divides the most commonly used noun endings into masculine and feminine columns. Typically, nouns that end in O, OS, EMA, AMA are masculine. Two exceptions to the rule are mapa and dia. Both of these are always masculine. Masculine nouns use masculine articles. Typically, nouns that end in A, AS, DAD, TAD, ION, and ORA are feminine. One exception is mono. Mono is always feminine, although it ends in O. In Spanish, a mixed gender group is always masculine. For example, if we have one guy and two girls, we end up with three guys. So if there are 50 women in a room and one man in the same room, the man will override, so to speak, the majority. Our next question is, how did libro become libros? We know that a noun can be masculine or feminine, but it can also be singular or plural. To go from singular to plural, we have to look at these noun endings. If a noun ends in a vowel, we add S at the end to make it plural. Nouns that end in a consonant, we add ES to the end to make it plural. Nouns that end in Z, we have to first change the Z to C and then add ES to the end. When we have a plural noun that we want to make singular, our first step is to drop the S. We then want to pause to look at the word to determine if the E needs to be dropped. Sometimes the E has to stay because it's part of that noun. A few things that we want to keep in mind are that everything has to agree in gender and in number. Verbs only agree in number. Not all nouns can change gender, like how profesor becomes profesora. For example, edificio is always edificio. You have to know nouns by gender. In the vocabulary, when you see el or la or un or una, that's going to help you determine the gender and number. For example, chicos are masculine and plural, so everything has to agree. Los chicos son estudiantes. Los is masculine and plural, the verb son is plural, and estudiantes is plural. Historia, we know from a previous concept, is feminine and singular. So the article la has to agree with it. Because it's singular, the verb is singular es, and una agrees with materia as that is the noun. Profesora is singular and feminine, so la is our only definite article choice. Remember that verbs can only be singular or plural. Es is the only option. Mujer is the only choice as a noun because it's singular and feminine to agree with profesora. Profesores, we know, are plural and masculine, so we need a plural and masculine definite article, los. Our verb needs to be plural because the subject is plural, son, and hombres has to be plural to agree with profesores. Son in numbers 1 and 4 is one of the plural forms of the verb ser, which is discussed in a future chapter. When choosing when to use a definite or indefinite article, it's about what do you want to say. Do you want to say a student, un estudiante, or the student, el estudiante? Let's practice changing the number of some nouns. Mochila ends in a vowel, so we add s to make it plural. Mochilas. Book bag to book bags. Cuaderno ends in a vowel, so we add S to make it plural. Cuadernos, notebook to notebooks. Papel ends in a consonant, so we add ES to make it plural. Papeles. Universidad ends in a consonant, so we add ES to make it plural. Universidades. Lápiz ends in a consonant, but the consonant is Z, so there's a special rule. Change the Z to C and then add ES. Lápices. Let's look at changing nouns from plural to singular. Escritorios ends in OS. We want to drop the S first and then pause. In this case, we can't drop the O because it's part of the word ending. We end up with escritorio. Hoteles ends in ES. Drop the S first and we're left with HOTELE, which isn't a word. So can we drop the E at the end and we get hotel? How do we know that we need to drop the last E? Because we have to know the noun. You are only working with nouns that are in the textbook primarily. Outside of those nouns, these are the general rules for it. Estudiantes ends in ES. Drop the S and pause. Estudiante is what we're left with. Can we drop the E? No, because estudiante is the noun. If you drop it, ESTUDIANT isn't a word. As you look at the nouns, think about what you know about them. Not only do we know that mochila ends in a vowel, we also know that that vowel is an A, which typically means that it's feminine, and it is. So we know mochila is feminine and it ends in a vowel, which lets us know that it is singular. We know that because most Spanish nouns that end in S are in the plural form, there are some exceptions to this, however. When it comes to nouns that end in consonants, you have to be familiar with the noun. For example, papel, universidad, and lápiz end in consonants. We need to figure out what we know about the word itself. Papel ends in L, universidad ends in dad, but more importantly, it ends in DAD. And lápiz ends in Z. So the L and Z ending don't really tell us anything by looking at it because those endings weren't on the previous slide. However, we do know that DAD endings are feminine in Spanish. So universidad is feminine and singular because it doesn't end in S. Words like papel and lápiz are more difficult because they don't follow those chart endings. You just have to know the gender of words like these. Let's practice changing the number of both the article and the noun. DA is going to represent definite articles at the top, and IA at the bottom represents indefinite articles. Okay, so in number 1, we have a blank and computadora. In that blank, we need a definite article that agrees with the noun in gender and in number. How do we do that? We look at the word. Number 1 ends in ORA. We know that ORA endings are feminine. It doesn't end in the letter S, so we also know that it is singular. So we're left with a singular feminine noun that requires a definite article. We talked about singular definite articles either being L or la, depending on the gender. We know it's feminine, so la is the only choice. La computadora. Number 2 ends in O, and we know that the O ending is masculine and singular. We need a singular masculine definite article to agree with this noun. El is the only option. El chico. Number 3, papel ends in el. Going back to the vocabulary, we know that papel is definitely singular because it does not end in s, and it's masculine as well because the vocabulary concept. A definite article that's singular and masculine is el papel. Number 4 ends in a consonant. We have DAD as the ending. We know that DAD ending is feminine. It doesn't end in S, so it's also singular. A feminine singular definite article is la universidad. Let's keep the gender of these, but change the number from singular to plural. Number 1, la computadora. We want to keep it as feminine, but make it plural. We know that the la is feminine and singular. We want to keep it as feminine, but make it plural. Las computadoras. Computadora ends in ORA, which is a vowel, so we add S to make it plural. Las computadoras. Number 2, chico ends in O. O is a vowel, so we make it plural by adding S to the ending. El is masculine and singular. Keep the gender, change the number. The only option is los. Remember that we're working with definite articles. Los chicos. Number 3 is papel. We know it's el papel. El lets us know that it is masculine and singular. El has to become los because that's the masculine plural version. Papel becomes papeles because it ends in el. El is a consonant, so we add es to the end to make it plural. Number 4 ends in D. D is a consonant, so we add es to the ending to make it plural. La is our definite article when it's singular. We know that la is singular and feminine. To make this plural, we keep the gender of it being feminine and change the number to it being plural. Las universidades. At the bottom of number 1, we have grabadoras, which ends in S. The S lets us know that it is plural. Before the S, we have ORA, which lets us know that it is a feminine ending. Keeping in mind that we're using indefinite articles, we're looking for a feminine plural article. Unas is our only option. Unas grabadoras. Number 2 ends in S, which lets us know that it is plural. Before the S, we have EMA as an ending, which lets us know that it is masculine. We're looking for a masculine plural indefinite article. Unos problemas. Number 3 ends in OS. We know the O lets us know that it's masculine, and S lets us know that it is plural. We're looking for a masculine plural indefinite article. Unos is our only option. Unos pasajeros. And number 4, it ends in ES. We know that the S is plural, but we need to look at the CE ending. It is possible for this C to have come from a Z. This is where knowing words comes into play. Lápices are masculine and plural. Unos is our only option. Unos lápices. All of these at the bottom are plural. We want to keep the gender but make them singular. And number 1, we know that unas is feminine and plural. Keep it as being feminine. but change the number to singular, una. Grabadoras is plural. Drop the S and pause to see if you can drop the next letter. We need to keep the A as it is part of the word. Una grabadora. And number 2, unos is masculine and plural. Unos must become un. Problemas ends in S, so drop that first. Can the S be dropped? No, because problema is the noun in its singular form. Un problema. And number 3, unos pasajeros, we said, are masculine and plural. Unos is an indefinite article, and as that, it has the masculine singular form, un. Pasajeros ends in S, so let's remove that first. Can the O be removed? No, because pasajero is a singular masculine noun. Un pasajero. With number 4, unos lápices are masculine and plural. Unos has to become un. You want to keep these in the same category. Keep definite articles definite and indefinite articles indefinite. Lápices, as I warned before, as a possibility, does come from a Z ending. So we know that Z must take the place of the C, and we need to drop the ES so that it is no longer plural. Un lápiz. Remember that the rule is that if a singular noun ends in Z, we change the Z to C and then add ES. So we drop the ES ending. Keep in mind that we make consonants ending plurals by adding ES, not S.